All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started then. Thank you guys for being here. You guys know my story pretty well, but for anyone that doesn't, that might be watching this recording, um, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer in 2018 when I was 36 years old. And that has put me on kind of a new trajectory for my life and a new purpose and a new story for my life that I didn't really expect. I am cancer free today, so that's good. Um, and I really just have used that time to sort of become a personal ministry for writing and speaking and really just using it to help others and help others get through crummy times and point people to Jesus if that's um, right for them to hear. So that's just really where my story sort of began. And I found this company called Shaklee when I was diagnosed because I was really looking for just ways, some natural ways to support my health. I had to do a lot of, unnatural things with chemo and a lot of medications that I had to put in my body. And so I was just looking for a bit of an integrated treatments with some more natural things as well. And so that was kind of how I found Shaklee, which you'll hear a little bit more about it later. But what really drew me was just the standards that they hold. They have really, really high standards, um, absolutely clean, beyond organic, non-toxic, and really higher standards than anything else that I found. And I learned that a lot of the products Olympians actually use because they get blood tested all the time and they can't afford to have some, metals or something show up in the stuff that they take because they can get disqualified from their sport. And so um, that really spoke to me as well. And so I started using um, some of their vitamins and their supplements and some of the things that they had while I was going through my cancer treatments. And kind of in the same way, I would get blood work all the time, and I could actually see in my blood work, like, oh, these, levels that I'm working on, they actually are improving, and this actually is doing something. So, finished treatments, kind of got back to everyday life, and I've sort of just over the years, swapped out things, my house cleaners and, little products, skin cares and things that I already buy anyways. I've just slowly become a little more crunchy, I suppose, over the years and swap things out. And so, all that to say, I just recently sort of felt like, I do a lot with my story to help other people, and um, and I've found things that have genuinely helped me physically as a cancer survivor, but also as a woman going through perimenopause and aging and, all the things that we all go through. And I just I felt the Lord's telling me like, hey, maybe this should be another avenue that you can use the story that I'm writing in your life to help other people. And so that's really kind of a little bit about me and how I got here. And Alyssa, who I have known since high school, is helping me to do that. She has been an ambassador for Shackley for a long time. Um, but like I said, friends for even longer. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Yes, yes. I ended up in Shaklee because I was raised on the products. So Shaklee just celebrated their 70th year as a business, which is incredible for any company anywhere. But that it was really just that I had a friend. I was using the products as a kid. We moved away from our ambassador back in the 90s, and my mom has a ton of health problems, and she would often say, I just don't feel as good as I did with the Shaklee products, but I won't drive all across Dallas to go get them. So we just didn't use them, but my mom talked about it, and that made an impression on me. And then I had a friend who invited me over to her green cleaning party when I was a new mom. And I went, and I usually never go to those events, but she was a good friend and I was there to support her. And I thought, well, I had a new baby. I should probably maybe get green cleaners. And I went and I found out it was a Shaklee event. And I was like, Shaklee, I know Shaklee. And funny story, I walked away from that event and I didn't buy anything because I was a new mom and money was tight, but I thought about it for a long time. And I knew that they were good products. And so then when I had a friend explain to me how this business works, how that if you have a product that people love and it's good and especially clinically proven, unique, something you can't get anywhere else, and also something that people run out of, then you can build a really solid business with products that people use every day and run out of and need more of. And she was explaining this to me about skincare. And I've said to her, if I ever did that, I'd do it with Shaklee because I really want to use their products. And so I went to my Shaklee friend and I started my business. And the plan was just do this until I go back to teaching. But I was a Christian school teacher, so it was pretty easy to replace my income in my first couple years. And then it's become even more than that. And my husband's in ministry, so I am really grateful to have me with an income that can support both of us. So, but it's but with that, I have a son on the autism spectrum. He's been able to change through how we've changed his diet, supplementation. Like it's really helped a lot of his sensory issues. My husband's cholesterol has been lowered. We've been able to maintain healthy weights. We have more energy than we used to have, all the things. So we love the products. We love the business model. And I love Chris. I love hanging out with Chris. So that's my
Yay.
story.
So I think what we'll do is I'll share our little slide deck here, and we'll take just a few moments to um, kind of share some of the things that have made a difference in my life, and um, and also just a little bit more about who Shackley is and as a business, and then we can ask some questions if you have questions, and that'll be all. So, um, as we think about, I've mentioned a little bit already as Shackley as a company. Why is it why is it so hard to be healthy these days? Well, I don't really I don't really have to tell anyone why it's hard to be healthy. It's hard to be healthy because we're busy and it takes time and effort to prepare healthy food. And frankly, that hamburger on the slide looks really delicious. So, but even when we do eat healthy, the quality of our food today just isn't what it used to be. We've got all these modern farm processing, mass production, chemicals and pesticides have all influenced the quality of our food in really negative ways. And so, even if we're like really on our A game, eating really healthy food, it's pretty impossible to get all of the nutrition that we need from food alone. So supplementing is important, but supplements can also come with their own challenges too, because the market is not regulated the way medications are. And so a lot of times you end up with reports like this that came out not too long ago about okay, this protein powder that everybody thought was so great, now has all these, we just find out has all these heavy metals and toxins in it. And here we are buying things that we think are helping our health and come to find out there's a bunch of junk in it. And so it's really hard to find the quality stuff that we can trust. And then there's also just the question of absorption. If a supplement is not made in the form that your body can use, and a lot of them aren't, then you're paying for benefits or you're paying for something you're not ever actually getting the benefits of. And so, not sure if you ever seen this picture before, but it's an X-ray of a vitamin just literally going straight through this person and not being absorbed in any way. So that's really why Shackley is different and why there's such a need for it. And one of the things, like I said, that just initially really drew me to Shackley was their commitment to purity and quality. Like you see organic labels everywhere. But it's such a loose term. And I never really felt like I knew what I could trust when people or when brands said that they're organic. And frankly, I don't have the kind of time it takes to research every product that I use. So finding a brand that I trust made things a lot easier for me, and I appreciated that. And so one thing that you'll hear with Shaklee is this phrase, beyond organic. Most companies who call themselves organic are referring to whatever it is that they spray on their product at the end. But Shaklee has, they look at what are we putting on our products in the beginning, during, after, what are we're testing the soil that we're planting our seeds in. We're looking at what is it downstream from. And they have all this rigorous testing that they do all along the way. So that way they could say what they're actually making actually is organic. And so they conduct hundreds of tests, thousands of quality control. They've even rejected batches that didn't meet their standards, and lost money on that. And so I really appreciate the standards. I also appreciate the integrity that's required for a company to say we're going to reject our own product because it didn't meet our standards. And like I said, I really love that there are Olympians and myself who can actually like look at blood work and say, okay, it's great to talk about it, but we actually can see the proof, that it actually does what it says it does.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Yes, well, is there another slide there, Chris? Or is that?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, no,
There's
okay.
not.
So I was going to talk about the landmark study, but I can get to that in a minute, or I feel like
Oh
maybe
yeah,
I
sorry
can.
about that. I
Oh,
missed
no, it's
it.
okay. But well, I will just add that they have done a study on people, and their most recent study is comparing people's biological age to um their chronological age. Like the age on the calendar is chronological, but they're looking at their blood work, they're looking at their energy level, they're looking at their stamina, and they are finding on average people that have used these products for I believe people were tested that were using it for as long as like 60 years, which is insane, but then also people that have been using it 2 years. They were finding on average, those people were 11 years younger than their chronological age based on their blood work, based on their stamina, based on their brain health, all of these things. So that's just one of their many studies that prove the validity of the products, which is just so cool. So we're going to talk over some of their most general products that hit the most bases, and this is what the people that were in that study were taking. And so Chris is going to talk about her favorite supplement pack that she was first using during her treatments, and that's the Vitalizer. And that's what we often suggest for everybody to use. And that was created after they had studied people that were using the products for a while, and they saw that they had overall better health than other people. And so they came up with this vitamin pack. So yeah, Chris, you can take it
Yeah.
over.
So yeah, so that's what this vitalizer strip is. Like I said, that's where I started, and it's a multivitamin, an omega-3, and a probiotic. But what you can see here on the side, like you can see kind of all of the equivalents, that it is. So it's the equivalent of 7 oranges for vitamin C and 8 cups of milk for vitamin D. Obviously, I'm not going to eat 17 bananas in a day, to get all the things that I need. So this was where I started, very basic, but again, just I could really actually see, the numbers in my blood work improve just from taking that. And then on this next graphic, you can see they're really designed to dissolve in the part of your body where you can actually use them. So this green one is the multivitamin that dissolves pretty quickly because your body can absorb it very quickly. As opposed to the yellow one is a vitamin B and C. Your body can only absorb vitamin B a small amount at a time. So it's very slowly, kind of goes through. Got the omega-3, which, only omega that I've ever tried that does not give you the weird fishy aftertaste. And then you've got this little pearl is a probiotic. And what's kind of unique about that is most probiotics are refrigerated. Um, Shaklee actually challenged their scientists to create a probiotic that could survive unrefrigerated because your stomach is not refrigerated. And the best place for it to be absorbed in your body is like the lowest part of your digestive system to get the most benefits. So that is really unique as well. So that's what that vitalizer strip holds, and that's where I started. And there's the landmark study slide
Yes.
in the
Yes, and
room.
this was the first study that they did, which was before the one that they just recently did, where they found out that they were on average 11 years younger. But this one was comparing people using a multivitamin of any brand in one group, which was like not a Shaklee brand, basically. And this group was done, the study was done by University of California at Berkeley, and they were trying to figure out, does taking a lot of vitamins make a difference? And so it wasn't necessarily a Shaklee study, but they went to vitamin companies and said, can we test your people? Because we know that people that represent a vitamin company are going to take a lot of vitamins. Most of the other vitamin companies said no, because they knew it was going to be published whether they looked good or bad. Shaklee said, absolutely, please test our people. So they had people in a regular multivitamin taking whatever brand. They had people in the Shaklee group taking multiple supplements, probiotics, omegas, multivitamins, like what Chris just showed you. And then they had people taking nothing at all. And what they found was that the Shaklee group had these incredible numbers: 141% better vitamin D. Their C reactive protein levels were 36% lower than the average. What the other interesting thing was is that the people in the Shaklee group were actually older on average than the people in the other two groups, because they were looking for people who had stuck to their system for, I think, 10 or 20 years. I can't remember. But anyway, so it's pretty impressive. And after that came out, that's where they decided to make the Vitalizer vitamin pack on average based on what those people were taking. So they have many studies that we could talk about, but those are some of our big ones.
Awesome. So the second product that I initially started using and still use, in fact, I was drinking it right before we started here,
It makes a
is
fast
their,
dinner.
yeah, exactly. It's their protein powder called Life Shake. Protein powder's notorious for having all kinds of metals and terrible things in them. So I love that Shaklee has a pure protein, has 20 grams of protein. But what's also unique to it is it has this enzyme called leucine, which is really intended to help you keep your muscle, especially as you're losing weight. And so that's unique to the Shaklee protein powder. They have a few options. There's a non-GMO soy-based version and a non-GMO plant-based version. Personally, I prefer the plant over the soy, but for people who like the soy, they're probably going to know it's really hard to find a non-GMO soy anything these days. So those are two options for that. And then they do have a bundle, which we'll talk about later. If you were interested in trying all those together, you can save some money by bundling those together, and we'll talk about them at the end. And then there's two more products that are really interesting and really new. One of them I have tried myself, and the other one I haven't even tried yet. That's how new it is, but I'm about to. So, Alyssa, you want to talk about the collagen?
Yes. So this collagen, if you've heard of the company Modere and you've heard about their very unique liquid collagen, Modere as a company did not handle their finances very well. And so their proprietary information became available and Shaklee bought it. But then they also improved it according to Shaklee standards of beyond organic and things like that. So this is the new and improved collagen, the Life Plus liquid biocell collagen. And what is amazing, like I was using a powdered collagen before, and I definitely saw the difference in my nails and in my hair. But this collagen helps hair, skin, and nails too. But it's a type 2 collagen. So it's also really helping joints in kind of insane way. So you can see from this story that this man, he was hoping to improve his shoulder mobility and his flexibility. Doctors told him he would need a total shoulder replacement, but he started using this, and after 7 weeks, he noticed great mobility and pain-free lifting. That's pretty insane. But here's the thing. I've heard this story over and over and over about this product. So we could go through lots of stories. I think we've got a few more on the next page, but I mean, you can also see on the outside the difference that it makes because it's as a liquid, it's able to absorb in a different way than what you're getting in a powdered collagen. And so you can see what's happening on people's skin from day 1 to day 47. And that kind of stuff is also happening in their body. This gal, Jen, was able to cancel some medical procedures. I think it was a knee replacement when she started using it and got better hair, skin, and nails. So, like, when I have met people that have been using this product for a long time, I just hear story after story of I was supposed to get my knee replaced. I was just had my shoulder replaced, and I had arthritis. And so, for so many people, this is just such an incredible product. So, if you struggle with any of those things, I would highly recommend this product because you're going to see a difference.
So this one I just started taking about 90 days ago. I
Mm.
had a shoulder thing, a hip thing, an elbow thing. Like this whole side of my body was just kind of a mess and completely pain-free today. And in
Wow, I
fact,
didn't know that, Chris.
oh
Wow.
really? I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But I know you said joint pain
probably.
is common if you've had chemo.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah,
Mm.
definitely. In general, a ton of joint pain. Um, uh, yeah, just from chemo and all those sort of things. And then specifically like some localized spots on the side that I was struggling with. And probably in about 3 weeks, I would say it was just completely gone. Um,
Amazing.
so yeah, so that was a little bit crazy for me to think about. So I'm definitely a big fan
Yeah.
of just the way that it helped the joint pain, helped the inflammation. And then similarly, this next product is one, I just got it in the mail and I'm about to try. It's called Vivix Plus. It's an NAD booster. Now, I did not know what NAD is until recently, and frankly, I still don't know a lot. But what I'm learning is it has so much influence on so many different things in our body. So, in a nutshell, in my layman's terms, NAD is an enzyme in our bodies that provides energy to all of our cells. Our cells require NAD to work. As we age, we make less and less NAD. So naturally, like not only do we feel like we don't have any energy, our cells don't have as much energy. They're not working as well as they used to. Um, so it provides the energy our cells need to function, but it also repairs the damaged cells in our bodies. Cells get damaged for a lot of different reasons because of trauma, because of injuries, because of genetics, because of aging. Um, and so as we age, that repair, because we don't have as much NAD, then our cells aren't repairing themselves very well anymore. And when damaged cells don't get repaired, that's a problem. Um, and so that's what NAD does. It gives them energy to work and it also repairs them when they're damaged. So that's what it is. And we have less and less of it as we age. I can share some more about that. If you want to get real nerdy, I'll send you some stuff. But that's kind of the layman's terms and what I'm learning about it. But what gets really interesting is so Shaklee made this Vivix Plus product. They conducted third-party double-blind study of people who took Vivix for 2 months versus people who did not. And the results were so impressive that the lead scientist on the study, who had nothing to do with Shaklee, third-party scientist, said it was the only product that he had ever done a research study on that actually convinced him to be taking it himself. So super interesting. I'm super intrigued to give it a try. Um, some of the main highlights of the things that they learned about it is you can see on this little slide. It says just taking it after 2 months, it reversed 8 years of cellular damage. Like that's how powerful it was in repairing cells. It increased VO2 max, which is a little bit nerdy. If you're not into working out a lot, you might not know what VO2 max is. It's basically how well your body, when you breathe and you breathe in oxygen, it's how well your body can use that oxygen. But it is one of the biggest predictors of longevity that we have. And so it improved VO2 max without any additional exercise. And it lowered the biological age of the people who are using it by 11 years. So that was pretty incredible. Um, that's how it works. What does it do? The stories that people are coming out because it's repairing all of that damage in your body. People are reporting better, getting better sleep, having more energy, having much better mental clarity, and like the clearing of that brain fog that we can get as we age. Inflammation reduced by double digits, those inflammation markers, better fitness and recovery, improved movement, joint pain. Just some of the stories that are coming out are really incredible. And so they had a tester group do it. And so the stories we had are from that tester group, but also now that it's available, people are using it. And really, the stories are even more and more are coming out. In fact, I think, Alyssa, not to put you on the spot, but I think you started trying out and you said like even you've noticed your sleep has
Yeah,
improved.
like yeah, my sleep, I will say I have the gift of sleep, so I can sleep pretty well,
I
but
do.
it feels so much deeper. And it was like I I had been up late. We had just traveling, and I had a friend in town afterwards. So I had had a week of late nights, and I laid on the couch thinking I was going to sleep for a little bit, and I had deep sleep, and I think I only slept for an hour, but I felt like I was out. And then I've had some nights like that too. And then I'll even wake up and it'll be like 5:30 in the morning, which is kind of when I normally get up, but a lot of times I get up and I'm really tired and I felt like I feel like I should be getting up right now. So
Hmm.
I'm really still early in it, but that's what I've noticed so far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because see, I do not have the gift of sleep, and
I
I would
hope that
love
you
to
see
fix
a difference.
that.
Yeah. But that
Yeah,
that seems to be the big thing lots of people are talking about is it's like their energy is being used in the day and then they're sleeping really well at night.
yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the four of my favorite slash most intriguing products that Shackley has. They have over 300 different products. So we didn't even talk about some of the cleanses and ways that they have for weight loss, skincare, non-toxic cleaners. There's a ton of different stuff. So if there are things that you're like, oh, I might be interested in hearing a little bit more about that, then we can chat some more. But I want to toss it over to Alyssa to share a couple more little nuggets as we wrap up.
Yes. So as I mentioned before, the business opportunity is pretty amazing when you can buy your wellness products from yourself. And it's just fun to be a part of a community where other people are cheering you on in your health goals, and then you cheer other people on in their health goals. And unlike other companies, we are paid really well. Just to share the products with others, which was Dr. Shackley's vision for this. So it is pretty cool, and it's so fun to be a part of a community where you're cheering other people on and there's not pressure. And so that's just a little bit about the business. You can get paid up to 40% commission on what you're selling, and 30% commission on first time sales. So it is really nice. And it's a nice thing that I have a lot of people that just do it on the side, whether it's just to pay for their own products or to, replace their income like I did. So, and I see my friend Ruth is here. Hi, Ruth. There's Ruth
Yay.
singing.
Glad you made it.
Yay. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the best deals. So we'll start with our absolute best deal because this one covers all the bases of everything we talked about tonight. So it's called the BioAge Reset Stack. It's a lot of words, but we can just forward you the link if you're interested in it. But it's got some of these best vitamins in a nice little package strip. You've also got the Life Shake. That's the one we talked about that has the leucine that helps you build muscle, helps you lose weight. It's also got the liquid collagen. That's amazing for arthritis. And it's got the new Vivix Plus. So it's $299, But we also did the math on what everything in there is, and we realized it's over $283 of savings when you would, if you were to buy all of these things individually, especially right now, because you could also get a creatine with it, and it's usually a $30 product. You can get it for $10. So that's one of the specials for this month. But if you're also like, well, I'm not sure if I'm ready to go that far in, I get it. Maybe you just want to try some of the new, really unique products, which is like our liquid collagen, as well as the Vivix Plus. And that deal also comes with the $10 creatine. So if you want to, if you're most intrigued by our newest products, this is a really good package. So just when you buy them as a package, there's more savings versus buying them individually. So just ask me or Chris to create a cart for you, and we'll make sure that you get the deals versus not the deals if you buy them individually. And then I believe there's one more package too, which is our Ready Set Wellness. This one is also great because you get a free product with it. But if you just want supplements and you want protein, like the Vitalizer pack that we talked about at the beginning, we highly recommend this package because the first time you buy it, you can get a free product that's worth about $40. And you can see there's lots of ones to choose from there. Our cleanse, our immune booster, or our energy booster, lots of different things there. So that's a really good package too. Or I don't know if I mentioned this too, but basically, if you create a $150 order, you will get 15% off. So it can be higher than 150, even if, it'll cue that in, and you'll get free shipping. So if you're sort of like, I want to kind of mix and match or whatever, talk to the person who sent you this video. We can help you. But that's the thing. Free shipping and 15% off is great, even just at 150. So but if you want to stay connected, I highly recommend our group called Simple Healthy Swaps. We put some recipes in there. We share some great stories to encourage you. We keep people up on sales, all the things. And it's just a nice community cheering people on in their health.
Awesome. I think that is the end. Yeah.
Yay!
So I will pause the recording, and then that way, if you do have any questions that you would like to ask, they will not be shared with the world.